so freaking bad. Wrestle me.
Welcome, everybody, to Juice Pro Wrestling episode 91, Arriba, with the legend, the man, the myth, former WWE Intercontinental Champion and Tag Team Champion and WWE Hall of Famer, Tito Santana. What's going on, Tito?
Not much. I've been looking forward to this call for quite a while.
Nice. Very good to hear. Tito, so you actually wrote a brand new autobiography with a friend of the show by the name of Kenny Casanova. Shout out to Kenny. Called Don't Call Me Chico. And I laughed as soon as I found out about the title of this book, because I always remember as a kid, Jesse the Body Ventura, like, Chico Santana.
Yeah, it was actually Kenny's idea. And, I loved it the minute I heard it. It's very catchy, and everybody knows Jesse was over like $1 million, and he did used to call me Chico.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm 37. I'm gonna date myself here, but I just remember being a like 6-7-year-old kid and like watching you, and that really stuck out along with your performance, just like Jesse. Much like guys like Gorilla and Bobby did for other guys with the way they commentated or certain things they said about the guy in the ring that really helped to catapult people. And I think that like I said, 30-something years later, and it sticks with me still,
Yeah, I mean, that was a great era, wasn't it? I mean, we had a lot of great talent, commentators, wrestlers,
Oh, man, the best.
It was great.
Tito, real quick, take us back to that time, and who were some of your favorite opponents from back in the day? You had a great singles run, obviously winning the IC belt, and then who could forget your tag team with Strike Force with the model, soon to be after the model Rick Martel. Take us through some of your favorite matchups from back in the day.
Well, in that era, me growing into the business, I was so lucky that, all my competition, I was learning because everybody was so good. Mm-hmm. And every time you stepped into the ring, you'd learn, from these guys.
Right.
When I took the belt away from Don Morocco, Don Morocco, I consider one of the best, he was also a great Intercontinental Champion. He was a great worker.
Yeah.
And, I learned so much from him. And then from him, I went to Greg Valentine and,
yep.
Another great worker. We used to have, brutal matches. We used to beat the crap out of each other. And I'm sure you remember Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Perfect.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Roddy Piper, and
yep.
there was just so much talent out there. And every time you stepped into the ring with different styles of wrestling, I feel that I was the type of babyface that I used to wrestle according to my opponent.
Right.
I could wrestle with a guy that wrestled like me, or I could wrestle with the bigger guys.
Yeah, your style was very adaptable. I'm glad you pointed it out, because that was something I was going to bring up. And not to mention, you were face your whole career. You were baby your whole career. There's very few people that do that. You have your Ricky Steamboats, and if you want to compare it to modern times, people always talk about like John Cena, not ever going heel. Boy, he was kind of had a heelish start when he was like the doctor of thugonomics or whatever they were doing back then. But there are very few guys that really stick that out, and you've had a pretty lengthy career. I mean, you're still working out on the indies out there. What was that like? Did you ever have aspirations to like go heel? Did it ever cross your mind? Was it something ever discussed?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when me and Rick Martel split up, Strike Force, mm-hmm. And I found out that Rick was coming back, I asked Vince if I could be a heel, because the heel was the guy that would lead the match.
Yeah.
He would lead the babyface, and I felt that I had enough knowledge about the business, as a babyface. So I knew what I wanted from a babyface. So I just wanted to create a heel Tito Santana, but Vince said, "No, you're going to stay a babyface. There's so much we can do as a babyface."
Oh yeah.
So he didn't switch me.
I mean, you were over like Rover too. I've read reports and stuff like back in the golden era, like the '80s. I mean, you were getting more fan mail than guys like Hogan and shit. Like that's
Yeah. There was a time when I was over pretty good, and I used to I used to bitch at the Vince, and I said, God, I don't think you're. I've already proved that I could draw money for you, and I just don't know why. I guess the fact that I was such a good worker that he could use me to get other guys over, and I would still stay over, I don't think I was used to, the most ability that I had. I don't think they used me to the best of my ability.
right. Well, I wanted to ask you this too, because getting started, I noticed here you were trained by Hiro Matsuda, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's going back to guys like Hogan. How was that? I mean, we've all heard the stories about Hogan and how he broke Hogan's leg and didn't think he was going to last in the business. What was that experience going like for you going into that?
Well, Hiro was a Japanese wrestler, and back then, in order to get into professional wrestling, you had to prove to the guys that you had it, and you were going to stay. They wouldn't smarten you up and let you know the ins and outs of the business. You had to earn the right to learn the ins and outs. They didn't make it easy for you. I mean, as a matter of fact, they tried to run you off. I was lucky that I was an athlete. And I took everything they dished out to me. And after a while, they say, well, this guy's got potential. And, let's ease up on him, and let's start putting him in matches and start showing him the business. But they beat the crap out of you. They try to make you quit. And
yeah.
I would say 95% of the guys would quit back then.
Which and I always like that old school mentality. Kind of, hey, if then you really know who really wants it. Really wants it that bad is at least willing to work hard enough to go through that, which is more brutal training than like military even, to stick it out. So kudos to you and everybody who went through that. I mean, I just got a soft spot in my heart for that old school, like old tough guy mentality, like they put you through hell. And if you outlasted it, you show what kind of man you are,
Well, I remember the very first time, because I went to West Texas State, and Tony Blanchard took me to Amarillo to a match there because we knew Terry Funk. And, I was not a wrestling fan, so I remember going into the Heels locker room, and I looked in there and I said, man, every one of these guys should kick the crap out of me. They looked mean. Back then, not too many fans were willing to, step into the ring and challenge a wrestler, because most of the wrestlers, looked the part and could go,
Yeah. Yeah, guys like Harley Race or like, Bruiser Brody.
I mean, God, you could just go down the line, Blackjack Mulligan.
Yeah.
And just go down the line. Mr. Wonderful, Tony Atlas, I mean, Rocky Johnson, he's a professional boxer.
Yep.
I mean, everybody was tough, and and some of the older guys were even tougher than, they all had a wrestling background or judo background, and, it was just, I mean, I thought I was tough when I was a football player, and then I got into the business, and I'd sit in the corner and I'd say, man, most of these guys couldn't wipe the mat with me.
Well, Tito, speaking, here's an interesting thing that I just found out about you. Speaking of football, you were actually signed by the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Yes, I was.
Tell me a little bit about that experience and what happened with your football career.
Well, unfortunately, I was a free agent, and I worked so hard that summer before camp, and I injured my Achilles tendon. I was running a pass pattern. At noon, I would run pass pattern with a quarterback at West Texas State for an hour, and I stepped into a hole and twisted my Achilles tendon. And for 2 weeks, they took me to the doctor right away and gave me a cortisone shot, and I was on crutches for a week. The following Saturday, they gave me another cortisone shot. and then I still wasn't able to run. On Saturday, the third Saturday, they gave me another cortisone shot. I flew to Kansas City that Sunday, and I told them, I didn't want to tell them that I hurt my ankle because, they'd send me home.
Right.
Being a free agent. So I just told the trainer, really rip up my knee, my ankle, really solid, I don't want it to move. I kind of let him know a little bit that it was a little tender. And I ran a 40, and I ran like a 5.4 40, very, very slow. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to do my best not to show any limping. And when I was there for 10 weeks, and my ankle got better, and I was so stupid that I never told the coaches to retime me. But I started 6 preseason games, and then actually the starter was Gary Butler got hurt, and then they traded for Billy Masters from Denver. He was a 13-year veteran, and the number 1 draft pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers, they traded for him, and mm-hmm. They let me go. Then I went to Canada and ended up playing in Canada.
What was that like? Because there's a lot of professional, actually, like football and pro wrestling, and we did an episode last year on that, it was like a 2 or 3 hour episode, because there's so many guys that go, back and forth, or vice versa. Either started in football and went to wrestling, or, the other way around. Like, example, maybe like a Brock Lesnar or something. How was that, though? Like, I mean, because obviously you said, you say you weren't really a wrestling fan. So you're looking to play pro ball, and, the NFL thing doesn't work out. You go play in Canada, in the Canadian leagues. There were a lot of guys out there. I mean, even guys like The Rock that played in Canada. Was there anybody else out there at the time that you played with that would later go on in pro wrestling?
Yes. God. Not that News Brown, but God, there was another guy. Angelo Mosca was there. When I was there, it was just myself, and there was another one, but I can't remember his name. He was from Oakland, mm-hmm. and he was with WWE for a while. But I haven't seen him in so long that I just now that I'm trying to think his name, I always know his name, and now I'm trying to think about it, and just out in the clouds. I can't think of his name, but there were a lot of guys from the States, and it wasn't that easy to make the Canadian team, because they only had, believe it or not, in the team they had 33 players, mm-hmm. and I think 17 of them had to be Canadian. So there was more Canadians than Americans. So, only 16 Americans per team. And to me, the American football player was ahead of the Canadian football player.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised that, they had a lot of talent also, the Canadians.
So, I mean, when you played football, was this kind of just something you did because you were an athlete? I mean, did you have a passion for it? I mean, obviously, you would think, you go that far, you have to have some sort of passion for the game. Is it something that you still kind of keep up with nowadays, or?
Oh, I love to watch football. I'm watching the Kansas City Chiefs, hoping they go a long way. Yeah, I mean, Tully Blanchard started talking to me about becoming a professional wrestler in college, because Tully Blanchard was a quarterback at West Texas State. Yeah. As a matter of fact, DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, was also on the same team. And they started trying to talk to me about becoming a professional wrestler when I was a junior. Mm-hmm. In college, and I wasn't a wrestling fan, so my passion was football.
Yeah.
So I had no desire to get into wrestling. But the father was a promoter. Tully's father was a promoter in San Antonio, and he started talking to me about how much money I could be making. When I signed with the Chiefs, I signed for $18,000 a year, and Joe Blanchard's talking to me. You could be making $80,000 a year. This was in 1975.
Yeah, that's a lot more.
And I started comparing, 18, 80. Like a no-brainer. So I went out and I found out, how tough it was to make it in the NFL. It was not easy.
Right.
So much talent coming out every year. You'd have to compete for your job.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, and even to having huge impact like you did in the professional wrestling isn't an easy task. I mean, to be a guy that we're sitting talking about, like I said, 30 years later, a bona fide legend, and not just in the WWE, but just if there was an actual, which I think there are a couple, like pro wrestling Hall of Fames that are outside of WWE. I mean, you'd be in every one of them. To have that lasting impact, kudos to you for that too, because that is not an easy task. You were in the biz. I mean, guys come and go.
Right. I was very lucky. I mean, I was in the first 9 WrestleManias.
Yeah.
And me and Hogan were the only ones that were in the first 9 WrestleManias.
Right.
And I believe that just my hard work in the ring. Every time I stepped into the ring, I was very blessed that the fans were always backing me.
Tito,
so
I want to ask you, speaking of WrestleManias, and we all know what that became, this huge global phenomenon. Take us back, though. What were your thoughts on, like, the first one? Because obviously something like that had never been done. I mean, you did have, like, the, what was it, the NWA and the AWA had that big, the supercar, and they had, like Starcade. Yeah.
Going on.
Yeah, so you had Starcade. So there was something like it before WrestleMania, but Vince had this grandiose idea of it will be that, but he wanted more. He wanted celebrities from, the entertainment side to be involved. He wanted to mesh pop culture. What were your thoughts like when you first heard about like the first WrestleMania going on and like getting ready to go into that? How'd you and like a bunch of the boys back then, what were your thoughts like going into it?
Well, we by the time WrestleMania hit, WrestleMania 1, the WWF was already on fire all over the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because our TV was going all over the place.
I still got the Rock and Wrestling album.
We had become national heroes already.
Yeah.
So we knew that we were very lucky to be, in the WWF back then.
Right.
And seeing this whole growth and how we were all of a sudden, we're not going into the gymnasiums anymore. We're not going into the small schools. We're going into nothing but big coliseums, and everywhere we went, it was sold out. And all of a sudden, this the name of WrestleMania 1 that was going to be coming up, and you start getting names like Cyndi Lauper and Liberace, and
I think Muhammad Ali was there.
Ali
too.
and I mean, so many stars that were there. It was beyond our imagination. We would have never thought that it was going to be as big as it ended up being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nowadays, I mean, it's insane. It's almost like a holiday. Even wrestling fans, or whether they're jaded or old wrestling fans, or people who aren't really into wrestling but they know what it is. It's like this thing, almost like the Super Bowl when WrestleMania week comes. It's like people are preparing and they're getting ready to have big parties to watch this event, and it is cool because it's this thing to get together. It's a reason to get together with family and friends, have drinks or whatever you do and food, and have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, they almost take over the town. The WWF, and there's a lot of, fan fest, sideshow that draw. They use the legends, and we draw, big crowds on the side, besides WWF.
Oh yeah.
Or the WWE, WrestleMania. It's the whole place goes crazy, and there's friends from all over the world that are there, and it's just a great time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I enjoy it. Maybe not the WWE side, do you have a hard time calling it that now? I still, even though it's been almost 20 years since they changed their name, I still don't really enjoy calling it WWE.
Well, neither do I. I'm used to the WWF, and it's a different sport. Now it's entertainment. It's a TV entertainment. It's not the it's not even the same product as it used to be. Back then you had the gimmicks, you had the, you had the King Kong Bundys, you had the, the big guys, and you had Andre, and you had, the wrestlers, and, the gimmicks, Junkyard Dog and Jake the Snake. And
yeah, JYD.
Now it's just, JYD, now it's just, I don't watch it, to be honest with you, because, they don't wrestle the way we used to wrestle. Now somebody who doesn't know anything about wrestling, gives them a script of how the match is going to go. Mm-hmm. And we, we didn't have no script. We just went out there and lived the match, and just got after it.
Yeah, the boys created it. I mean, you were kind of given a ball or the platform here, run with it, where nowadays it's just straight soap opera bullshit.
Yep.
But my question to you is, because in this day and age that we live in, we are so fortunate as wrestling fans, and even the boys in the biz, that there are so many ways to view wrestling, even like the old school stuff from you guys, and a lot of the new indie promotions, that a lot of these athletes are they're just insane. Like the athletic ability that they possess is something that it reminds me of, like, a guy like you back in the day who was just like, I knew there was, and like you said, you felt like you could have had more done with you. And and watching you though as a kid was like, man, this dude's like all over the place. Like, it wasn't just your typical, like if you had like, say, Hogan and Bundy, like a bear hug and a headlock. I mean, there was some shit going on when you were in the ring. And nowadays there's a lot of that. And I want to get your opinion. Do you know, or have you heard anything about like All Elite Wrestling, started by Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes?
I have heard about it, and I'm kind of glad that there's competition, and it's kind of like old school. It's what we call old school type of wrestling.
Right.
And I do believe that old school still works.
It does.
And so from what I understand, their numbers are pretty good on on television. Mm-hmm. So I wish them nothing but the best. But I don't even watch that. I don't really have time to. I'd much rather watch a professional football game or a baseball game. Mm-hmm. I watch any sport other than wrestling.
It's all good, man. Hey, more power to you. I like all that stuff too. Real quick, I want to ask you. So when you came back in what was it, like the early mid '90s? It was like the new generation era. The El Matador gimmick. What was up with that? Was that something that Vince just said, "Hey, we're gonna give you a El Matador. You're a bullfighter now," or like what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I had just gone in, and I wasn't happy the way me and Rick Martel split up. I thought we were going to have a big feud, and they cut my, we didn't even have a feud. They didn't give me, me and Valentine wrestled each other for a year and a half, and we had all kinds of gimmick matches, return matches, and we drew a lot of big crowds.
Yeah.
We sold out a lot of arenas without Hulk Hogan being there. Our match itself, was doing fantastic. So after the split, I thought I was going to have another good run with Martel, and that's what it seemed like. And then all of a sudden, they cut it off.
Yeah, you guys really never had.
There's no more matches. He goes on and wrestles Jake the Snake Roberts, and and then I go in and I'm ready to just hang it up, because I'd had a good run. I'd saved my money, and I told Vince, I said, I'm ready to, if you don't have anything for me, it's okay, thank you, I'll leave. Mm-hmm. And he said, no, I got one more thing that I'm going to do with you. Do you mind going to Mexico and learning how to be a bullfighter and learn everything about bullfighting? And, as a matter of fact, he sent me to Mexico to learn how to be a bullfighter. I didn't think Tito Santana needed a gimmick. I thought Tito Santana was over.
Yeah.
By myself. But if he was the boss, he made me a promise, and I figured, he's going to make me some more money. And I went to Mexico, became a matador, and again, I was supposed to come out with a big gimmick match with the $1 Million Band. And then all of a sudden, no, it's not going to happen. I mean, they were planning on going into South America and Central America and Spain and, all the Hispanic countries. And, all of a sudden they X'd that idea, and they didn't end up going to Mexico or South America or Central America. So I ended up getting screwed again.
Jesus. Yeah, it's weird to try to sit and understand Vinnie Mac's train of thought sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, hey, man, he's like third generation promoter, come from money, doesn't really understand people like he's led on to believe. I mean, he has come up with some good characters, don't get me wrong, but on the flip side of that, like you said, Tito Santana was established. Why the fuck does he need to be a bullfighter now?
Right.
And the whole I was actually, shout out to my boy Steve Joyner out in California. We were talking before I came to record with you tonight, and he's like, hey, asking about the Strike Force, like him and Martel. He's like, there was like no resolve to that. You guys had that blow up, and then it was like there was nothing. Like you said, like that I mean, that would have been a program.
We were over like $1 million. Rick, all of a sudden we show up in WrestleMania 4.
Yeah.
Rick has to take some time off. We drop the belts for Demolition.
Yep.
We come back. In WrestleMania 5, and Rick leaves me in the ring, and I get the crap beat out of me, and we have a nice split, and the people really, the feud was all set up, where we could have gone and wrestled against each other for a year.
Oh yeah, and
because the people were really pissed off at Rick.
Yeah. And back in the day, you could have established a program.
He's the one that quit for a year. He's the one that was gone, and I feel like I'm the one that got punished.
Yeah.
They didn't. They promised me this and that, and nothing really happened. So, eventually I ended up and said I can't take it anymore. So that's when I quit in August of '93.
So, and you do, I mean, and you came back. Didn't you do a little stint or maybe a match? There was like one televised match with WCW.
Yeah. They brought us in, and me and Snuka and was it George Steele? There's three of us that wrestled. The main guy in the WCW, and all of us beat him. As a matter of fact,
it's all good. Yeah, I think it was like a Nitro in like 2000 or something like that.
What's that?
I think it was on like a Nitro back in 2000.
Right. Yeah, it was a Nitro.
Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, and Jeff Jarrett was over pretty big. They tried to get me to go to WCW. They offered me a deal, but I wasn't. I had been on the road for 17 years. I didn't like being away from my family anymore. I'd had enough.
Yeah, that road lifestyle. I mean, is that some of the stuff that you cover in your book? Is like some of that life on the road and like the grind and all that?
I cover everything in the book. I talk from when I was a little guy, growing up as a migrant worker, and the life that we had, and, breaks that I got in life, and rips that happened on the road, and being on the road so much, we used to wrestle 350 days a year. It was tough in the family. Not too many wrestlers, stayed with the same wife, because it was hard. We're always missing birthdays, always missing anniversaries, always, missing special dates.
It says that's it's a lot of reason why I think Randy Savage brought Elizabeth in with him, so he can and then he kept like everybody. You hear all the stories about how he was kind of a freak about like keeping her away from the boys and stuff, but yet having her with him so he didn't miss out on that time because you guys are always on the road. But then you also hear the stories how he was like super guarded over, where's Elizabeth?
Oh yeah. Talk about, he was just very possessive of her. I don't blame him. She was a beautiful girl.
Yeah, sweetheart too, from everything I've read and seen.
Yep.
So Tito, before we get end here, I want to ask you, being a guy in the biz, being the legend you are, do you have yourself, because I've never asked this out of one of the boys, do you have a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers?
Do I have a Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, like guys you would say, who do you think would be like the top 4 guys in the business ever, top 4 draws ever?
Well, to me, Hulk Hogan, to me, Hulk was the Elvis of professional wrestling.
Right.
And Ric Flair,
mm-hmm.
and The Rock and Steve Austin. To me, those 4 guys.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I would have to agree there. I mean, there's, I guess, little alternates people could say, but that to me that would be the main 4.
Well, especially from our era,
mm-hmm.
They like in Austin and The Rock, they're still old school, those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of great talent came after, The Undertaker, I mean, who had a better run than The Undertaker, but as far as, to me, people that made a big impact,
mm.
And those are the 4 guys that I would put on Rushmore.
Oh yeah. What about Randy? I mean, I guess he'd be one of those alternates,
Well, Randy's the same. Shawn Michaels,
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper, John Cena. I mean, there's quite a few. I mean, Randy Orton. There's a lot of other guys that are over.
Mm-hmm.
But you asked me about Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, those 4 names that you listed, I mean, I think probably had like the biggest impact on the sport or the sports entertainment, whatever you smart marks out there want to call it. So yeah,
we had Razor Ramon that was at one point was over like $1 million.
Oh yeah.
We had the guy that died that replaced Hulk to beat Hulk for the title.
Warrior.
The Warrior, Ultimate Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who was over more than him? But, but his impact was not as long. He was.
Yeah, he was kind of quick. He was in and out. A lot of bad business dealings from what I've read, and just kind of like, hey, no showing places and holding Vince up for money.
He didn't have a lot of respect for the business.
No. But hey, at the end of the day, what are you gonna do? It was a weird story with him. He kind of made amends a few years back. Man, it's going on like 5 years now, I think, if not more. And to do that, go back on Raw and make this crazy prophetic speech, and then keel over the next day.
Yeah, they flew home with his family, walking in his car.
Mm-hmm.
Had a massive heart attack and died.
Yeah, that's crazy, and wrestling in general, unfortunately, is surrounded, by death so much. There's this weird thing now. It's just ingrained in my memory. When I'm watching old school tapes, it's weird to watch because, I enjoy it, but you watch, and most of these guys, and I'm going down the list from managers to guys who I knew were like referees, to the boys in the ring doing their thing. It's like, man, he's gone, she's gone. Like, it's just one of those crazy things. And whether it's, due to self-demise, like drugs or whatever, or, however it's been, it happens. And professional wrestling is like kind of got this shroud around it as far as death goes. And it's just, it's just a really weird thing to get over.
Yeah. I think a lot of it had to do with the steroids and the drugs, and a lot of the guys that really got hooked on different pain pills because we were always hurt, and there was always doctors around, and it was very easy for us to get the prescriptions from the doctors because we were always hurt. We were legitimately hurt. So you start abusing the pain pills, and then they'd give you stuff to sleep and stuff to wake up, and it was easy to get whatever you would ask them. They knew that we had a lot, a rough life, so they, give it to us, and a lot of guys abused it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to a lot of my friends. Unfortunately, most of them died young. Way too young.
Oh yeah, it's crazy because a lot of these guys too were. I mean, that's just that thing. You see them on TV; they're larger than life, and they have such an impact on you, especially when you're an impressionable child like I was. And you grow up and hope to have moments like I have with you right now, and talk to you guys, and you look at the list, and it's just a laundry list of guys, man. Like it's a sad thing, but hey, Tito, on a more positive note, you do have this for guys my generation that are actually involved in the wrestling side of the business now. I mean, you have this huge impact on a lot of people, and especially the Latino community, because there was nobody like when I was young, there was nobody hotter like a Latino superstar than you. I mean, you could go a little bit earlier and everybody could talk about the Guerreros and all that, and then of course Eddie afterwards. But I mean, how does it feel to know that you've had this huge impact on for Latino wrestlers to be in the spotlight and to be featured and to be just huge superstars? I mean, how does that feel for you?
Well, I realized what an impact I made afterwards, not when I was there.
Right.
And it really hit me when Eddie Guerrero, like I had met Chavo years before any of the big WrestleManias, and I was really impressed with him, Neil Mascara, but they never, they weren't at the level that I reached when all the WrestleManias were going on, to become a national celebrity. Yeah. And when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2004, Eddie Guerrero came up to me, and he was the world champion, and he thanked me for opening up the doors for the Hispanics. And that's when it dawned on me that I did have an impact.
Huge.
I had a reputation. I had a good reputation. And, a lot of kids, of all colors, looked up to me. So but that was the first time that I really started to realize what an impact I had on opening up doors for some of the guys.
That's awesome. That's an amazing thing. And I mean, international. You guys. It started back then. It started with you guys. And those first 9 WrestleManias, like you said, that was global. And it's. I still have stuff from back then. I have like the old LJN rubber figures. I got the wrestling album. I still have that on vinyl. I mean, you guys were rock stars back in the day and still are to a lot of us. So, thank you for everything that you've done and the huge and positive impact you've had. There's a lot of guys in the biz that did not. And that's one thing I don't want to preach because I don't want to be too preachy, but there's so much negative shit in the world, accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. And you, my friend, really did that. And I have nothing but praise for you for doing that, man, because that's a hell of a feat to accomplish something and inspire so many people to do whatever it is they loved, whether, they got into the wrestling business or did something else in their lives. I mean, you were one of those guys that was like, hey, man, I can do it. Anybody can do it. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, I had Mario, what's the movie star? He's on the news all the time. He does the drop of the ball in New York. Mario
Lopez.
Mario Lopez.
Yeah, AC Slater.
He called me one time and he told me that I was a big influence when he was little. That he says if Tito can make it big, I'm going to make it big. And
yeah.
He says, whenever you're in L.A., give me a call. I'd love to hang out with you, but I never really have gone back to L.A. But, I started to realize, I did impact a lot of people, because they saw me make it, it gave them encouragement to go for it.
Yeah, man, and that's a super cool thing, and with nothing but just hard work and positivity, no BS. That's the great thing about it, man. It's very authentic, and it is a good story, and it's a story that people can read about in your book. Don't Call Me Chico, that you can buy at TitoSantana.com and I don't know how they pronounce it, if it's WOW, but it's WOHW.com. I believe that's the publisher's company. Tito, do you have anywhere else where people can reach out to you online?
Well, all they have to do is, if they want to order my book, they go to TitoSantana.com.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is right there.
Sweet.
And I just finished a promotion that I would make a phone call with every order, and it for about 3 weeks. I've had a lot of orders, and then somebody today made a request of I only kept it till December 24th.
Mm-hmm.
That I would make a phone call with every order, and somebody asked if I could make a call, and if somebody orders a book, and they request on the order for me to make a phone call, and somehow get the phone number to me, and I'll call them.
Nice. That's awesome. That's you guys get to share the honor, much like me and Sretton do right now, to talk to this legend of professional wrestling, and not just life in general, and positivity. And from what I've read online, I mean, you're a teacher now, correct?
Yes, I am. I've been. This is my 23rd year.
Wow. And
I'd like to do it 3 more years, and then I plan to retire from teaching, and just.
And then enjoy the ride.
Just enjoy the rest of. I feel like I'm in a mile race, and I've done 3 laps. I got 1 more lap to go. I want to enjoy the last lap.
Right on. Well, Tito, thank you so much, brother.
That's 440 yards.
Yeah. So everybody, hit up TitoSantana.com. Buy the book, read the story. Super inspirational. Super. If you're out there as a wrestling fan, I mean, and you're a Tito Santana fan, you got to have this book. I mean, there's so many stories of a man just working hard, kicking ass, and taking names, and doing it in a positive light, which is a very rare thing to find nowadays. So be sure you check that out.
What made me feel, I hate to interrupt you, but I started getting some feedback from people that have read it.
Yeah.
And they told me that they once they started reading the book, that they couldn't put it down.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
And they just started getting it. So, it kind of made me feel good that, for somebody to say, that they were enjoying it so much that, it was hard for them to put it down. And, they praised my book. So, it was great.
Very much. Hey, man, hard work pays off, and so does positivity. And you, my friend, are a great example. Tito, thank you very much for coming on the show. Hopefully sometime down the road we can have you back on and do some more things with you. It's been an honor and a privilege. Sretton, you have anything you want to add to that?
I just want to say thank you also. It's been an honor and a privilege. I'm looking forward to reading your book.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave here. I'm going to order it, and when it gets here, I'm going to read it. So, yeah.
We might have to get a couple extra copies, too, because Sretton's actually involved in a bookstore here downtown called Green Door Books.
Yeah.
So he's actually, we might have to get a couple to sell and get the word out, because there's a lot of wrestling fans out here. We're in the Chicagoland area. So we might have to get that and put it right in the window. Tito Santana, number 1!
Well, thank you so much, guys.
No problem. Hey, and you have a happy new year, Tito. Enjoy your 2020, brother.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Arriba.
Arriba! Arriba!
Hey everybody, Sretton here. I just wanted to do a little quick promotion for a video on YouTube that just got put on by the Reality of Wrestling. It is titled Impact versus Reality of Wrestling. It's a pretty awesome show. I just want to go over the card and promote it. All right, so the matches here, I'm sorry if I butcher the names. We got Alexa Gracia versus Jordan Grace. We got Rascals versus La Familia. Oh man, we got Moose versus Mysterious Q. Woo. We got 12-man elimination match. We got Michael Elgin versus Moonshine Mantell. Wow. Eddie Edwards versus Gino Mandina. Oh man. Sammy Callahan versus Terrale Tempo. Oh, Tessa Blaster versus Hyan versus Sue Young and AQA. Oh man. LAX versus Fly Def. Vitch Swan versus
Davidson. Oh, this is so good. I can't. I am the Incredible Mark. I will destroy the whole world trying to tell you about Impact Wrestling. I need to tell you about everything. You gotta watch it. It's so good. Did you see Rich Swann and all the crazy stuff he's been doing? Oh man, the rascal's flipping around, kicking people in the face from really low heights. And then high heights, Rhino, RVD. What about Brian Cage, the Wolverine? And we got Sammy Callahan doing all the crazy stuff with Tessa Blanchard. Got Moose and fucking Shamrock this year. And Ace Austin is fucking everybody's mama. You got AC Romero jumping off tall ladders, freaking everybody out, giving me a heart attack. You got so much good stuff on Impact. I gotta get out of here. Incredible Mark jumping through the wall. Arriba!
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was fucking amazing. Thank you once again to Tito Santana. Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast, doing big things in 2020, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. Speaking of that, let's carry on with the end of the show with the fucking news. The news. You thought I was going to do it in a prolonged manner, but I didn't. I kept it short and sweet. So, I've been seeing everybody with these. Slim Jim is using Macho Man Randy Savage again to sell their beef sticks.
How? Old footage?
No, well, there's a Mattel action figure out with the Macho Man in his Slim Jim garb, and you can actually go now and get Savage Slim Jims that are like as thick as John Holmes, from what I hear.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I've been hitting up all the gas stations because they have these little cool wooden.
What I meant to say was,
Macho Mans.
Who's John Holmes? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let's go. That's what I was supposed to say.
You fucking piece of shoe. I'm going to move on from that now. But yeah, they have these little statues that you can put the Slim Jims in. I've been trying to get them from gas stations, but everybody takes them. Even the cardboard box, I just want that because it's got Savage on it. It's pretty awesome. I'll put some pens in them or something.
Yeah.
Some other breaking news coming out of WWE. This is really fucking weird. So everybody out there listening, you guys, I haven't seen this man on WWE television in a long time. I know he had like some kind of mental breakdown coming from NXT to the main roster, and then there were a bunch of like homophobic or racist slurs or something he used in an old chat somewhere. Lars Sullivan. Now news comes out that the man who was spewing hateful homophobic propaganda.
What did he do?
Gay porn. Hey.
Gotcha.
As M. Night Shyamalan would say, witty twist. So, I mean, hey, to each their own. I guess he apologized for shit he said and all that. I mean, it's just kind of a weird skeleton to come out of your closet. I don't know if, in fact, he is homosexual or not. Not that it really matters. I don't know if he was for pay or what have you. It's a weird coincidence and weird story.
It's kind of funny.
Kind of funny. It's really fucking funny. I'm sorry. So, shout out to Effie. He will be, Lars Sullivan will now be appearing at Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
Oh, congratulations.
No, he won't be. They'd be, they're better off without him. The guy's, man, he's just a mixed bag of fucking bullshit at this point. Jesus Christ, dude. That was like the last thing I expected coming out of 2019, ending the year, the decade. And that's what we had to hear about this guy. It's like, man, dude, what the fuck is going on upstairs? I guess the world may never know. AAW coming off of their big Windy City Classic 15 pay-per-view event. A lot of title changes going on. For some weird reason, once again, the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu, did not show. I don't know what's up with that. I'll leave you guys to speculate and criticize, because, it's what you like to do. So Josh Alexander defended his title against one Mance Warner. And Mance Warner won the belt, so he is your new AAW heavyweight champion. Chris Statlander, new champion. A lot of crazy shit going on in the AAW camp. You can rewatch that pay-per-view event on the Fight TV app, or check it out on fighttv.com, wherever you get all your shit at. Warrior Wrestling announcing just a couple of really huge matches taking place for Warrior Wrestling 8. You have Alex Shelley of the Motor City Machine Guns going one-on-one with Amazing Red. First time that's ever happened. That is going to be fucking insane. You have the Strong Hearts, that's right, those Strong Hearts, versus the Rascals. There's another insane matchup. You also got Black Label Pro doing big things. January 18th, when nobody backs them into a fucking corner. Yeah. Budweiser, Bud Club, join me. They just announced the Midwest champion, AJ Gray, Rich Homie Juice, versus a former guest of the show, Alexander Hammerstone. Hammerstone! Really fucking pumped to see him locally around here. I love Hammerstone's work, and if you guys went back into the archives and listened to our interview with him, it was fucking awesome. It was a good time. So it's going to be really cool to see that match happen, along with a lot of other badass shit that BLP's doing. You got Kylie Ray versus the Warhorse. What's that? I can only imagine maybe she comes out to, he starts headbanging to some like Pokemon shit or whatever, like a metal version of it. Yeah. And here's some other breaking news.
What?
Considering Warhorse.
What?
He's getting married. Gonna get married. So,
sorry.
Salute. All right. Cue the metal music. Cue some handsome prick.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, so a lot of shit going on, man. I just wanted to take this time now. It's a new year. It's January 1st of 2020.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. We hope you made it through alive and safe and not in jail.
Yeah.
Fucking amateurs.
That'd be good.
That'd be real nice. There's still no cars flying yet.
Nope.
All this crazy shit that when we were kids thinking, man, like 2020, there's going to be some really fucked up shit. Like
Forget
Jetsons
flying
going
cards. Where's them hoverboards?
on. I know, right? They'll never happen.
Cubs didn't win the World Series, though.
Ugh, yeah. Let's not speak of that. Ugh, I hate the Cubs. Sorry, guys. Sometimes the truth hurts, and the White Sox are looking pretty good for next year.
Happy New Year, y'all. I hope that everyone that listens, achieves all their 2020 goals. And if
Yes.
you don't have any goals,
Fucking get some!
yeah, get a
What's your
couple.
problem? Get off the fucking
Wrong with
couch,
you?
put down the tasty-ass bag of Lay's, and get on the motherfucking job! Whatever job
Put
that may
down
be.
the porn star thick dick Slim Jims that you just got and get some goals.
Ooh, yeah, get some goals. I'm going to tell you right now, you need something to be successful. Yeah.
Yep. Anything else in the news?
No, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got. I would just, I would like to thank everybody for a crazy 2019. I like to do that on air. I've been doing it on social media. We do have a best of the JP Dub 2019 playlist on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, so go check that out. We just nailed over 300 subscribers, so thank you to everybody who has subscribed and continues to support and share. Just another thing we got out there, once you're the 500th subscriber, you can win an autographed Kurt Angle autobiography, so get on it. Tell your friends. Formulate, I should say, some kind of fucking plan so you can win that book.
That's right.
Yeah. It was really signed by the Olympic gold medalist. So
That's right.
Spread the word. Get some more subs on our channel. We'd greatly appreciate it. Help us out make more killer content for you.
I'd also like to say thank you to all the fans, to all the listeners, to all the people that support us.
Yes.
Tell more people about it so
To
more
all
people
our
can support us.
friends.
To all our friends, to all our new friends, to all our old friends, to all the people that we've interviewed, legends, soon to be legends, future legends, all the people that do the production for these wrestling shows that we've been to, all the people that we've met, all the people that we want to meet. Yeah. Also, thank you to Jesus. Thank you to the guy that invented the Big Mac. Thank you to I'll stop.
Who's Jesus?
I don't know.
A Mexican dude down the street works at El Salto?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Yeah, he's a good cat. I like
Good
him.
guy.
Thank you, Jesus! What was that years ago with Tom Brady? When they won the Super Bowl, he's like, thank you, Jesus! Some weird shit.
I don't remember that.
Oh.
But yeah, thank you. From the both of us. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for everything.
Yeah. We had a really fucking killer 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Did a lot of traveling, a lot of growth with the show.
Yep.
Met a lot of really cool people.
Yep.
And it's been wild, man.
Yep.
To see from where we started to where we are now and to where we're going it's gonna be a fucking wild ride.
Very exciting.
Yes.
I remember where my head is at today versus where my head was at, I think, episode 10 or 12, where I almost had a meltdown and I wanted to murder everyone in here.
I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. I think that was episode 82. Check it out.
What was it?
Episode 82.
No. This was an early
I know.
one.
I was just
Yeah. No, I think the name of episode 82 was...
nervous breakdown. That's why I had to throw it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a lot of growth and a lot of excitement. And we continue to, and we're very excited for what the future holds for the show.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool shit coming up, like the zine. You know, we're going to be throwing that at you guys pretty soon here. You'll be able to pick that up, and we're going to have some merch for you, too. So get ready to open your wallets for that.
Yeah.
We like it when you open up your wallets.
Yeah.
You know why we like it? Because we never ask you to do it.
No.
No.
Where else can you get this amount of entertainment while you're driving in your car or vacuuming? Or what if, or this is what you put on when you have dinner guests and a dinner party? Instead of talking about how good that wine is and what year this wine is, you put on Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah. That was another big thing that, you know, I mean, we finally got our own theme song. It's killer. You guys can download it on Bandcamp, juiceprowrestling.bandcamp.com, done by the Pink Machines, who have a new album out, Say Goodnight to My Little Friend, which is on iTunes, Spotify, and you can also check that out on bandcamp.com. They got new T-shirt designs and physical copies of the CD as well. So support that motherfucker. What up, Brad?
That's right.
And other than that, I mean, I'm pretty much... I think I'm on the level for right now, and I'm looking forward to 2020. And I'm looking forward to meeting all of you out there that enjoy our product and getting down with the Juice and fucking Stratton and Bruiser Bowdy and all of our crazy guests. Until next time, you can find us everywhere on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, every podcasting platform, YouTube. We gotta wet 'em up. Wet 'em up, wet 'em up, wet 'em up. Well, oh, God, I'm so fucking wet for Tito Santana in the year 2020. Oh, can you dig it, sucker?
Arriba, 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 arriba.
You gonna do sex to me?